Hello everyone, this is Helen H and welcome to my channel, Moss Cottage. I hope everyone is doing well today. I've had a super busy day today, but I wanted to take some time to just play and make some painty papers without using a jelly plate. This is just using papers and scraping paint and whatever, and some chit chat and whatever. You don't need to have a jelly plate to make some great painty papers. So anyway, what I'm using is I just cut some tore some squares. This is actually some newsprint that was, it was a part of a painty paper, a blotter paper on my desk, but it didn't have a lot of paint on it. It just really had some stamping. And then these papers here, these top papers are just not newsprint, printer paper that I had used when I made my watercolored coffee filters. So I'm going to be painting over those. And then here I have, see, this is a part of the big plans I told you I stole out of the trash can of the government building here. This was for a Walmart in our area. So this was actually some drop paper, but it wasn't great drop paper, so I'm going to do some more stuff over that as well. So I'm not using, good paper, but you could, if you just want to take a stack of your printer paper or whatever, you could do that. I just thought that since I'm just going to be playing, that I would just go ahead and use some older or used up papers, nothing precious, right? So I am going to, have to think about this for a minute here. I'm going to go ahead, let me pull this here. Oops, you might hear something here. I have a big one of those plans, which is also, this is half of it covering my desk. This is folded here. These are huge plans that they use to make the Walmart thing. And I have one on the floor that Holly plays on at night, and I've got that on the floor so I can put these papers when I've scraped paint on them. Now I am using some paints that I really want to use up. There's not a whole lot left. These are these Claudia Helmuth studio paints that we all got at Tuesday Morning back in the day for 99 cents. And then I just added some, this is Premio acrylic in lemon yellow. I've got Kaiser color in lime, and then some gesso and some white Craft Smart paint. These two tubes of paint and the gesso I'm not trying to get rid of, but I just thought that they might go well with these colors. Although I just really want to make some colorful mess. So my goal, like I said, is really to get rid of these Claudia Helmuth paints. And like I said, I know back in the day we all had these. And yeah, I just have to ask Claudia what she was thinking when she designed these tubes, because these are the hardest things to get paint out of. I mean, really, I maybe, that there would be precision, but they clog so easy. And it's like we talk about sprays, how they always clog and everything. Well, these paints are, kind of do the same thing. They get all clogged up, but if that happens, because I'm determined to use them up, I'm going to just scrape or cut the ends off the tubes and use them that way if I have to. So I'm just putting some paint on like this. I've got a little watch of stencils over here, so what I can do is just lay a stencil that I want on top. Any one, just pick one, Helen, and just maybe I can put paint on, or I can take my wipe and maybe wipe some paint off, although that's probably not so smart with this because this is very thin paper. I should probably do that on the thicker paper. Maybe what's smarter with this is to just go ahead and to get some paint. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I actually opened all of these. This here is this pin that I've been using to open these. I was just doing this. I have opened these already once, and they've already clogged in like the 2 seconds it took me to open them all and come back on, right? So I'm just going to see if this works. I'm trying to scrape some paint on the stencil. I'm not even sure if scraping paint on the stencil works. I might have to get out a sponge. But like I said, I'm just making painty paper. Yeah, it worked a little bit, not so great, but you can always do that too. Use the other side. I'm just going to throw these on the floor. And, you know, if you're using up paints, obviously you're going to have a lot of the same color. But then if you want to make a journal or something, that's okay, because then, you know, you've got a lot of things that are of the same color. Well, you're probably thinking, who's going to make a journal as small as these little papers that you're doing? These I was thinking more about for making embellishments, maybe for, you know, tags or something, you know, to add to a journal maybe. And I'm just going all over the edge, and see, by doing this I'm also creating another painty paper on the bottom, or blotter paper or whatever on the bottom. So, you know, I can just do like this. I'm going to let a couple of these dry, and then we're going to come back and do a little more to them. So let's get the excess off of here. See how much paint that was just the paint that was, oops, that was on the card here. Oh, no, leave those alone. Holly's in here, and she's like, oh, good, is that paper for me to lay on? Holly, get away from there, honey. Oh, that's my nightmare, to have the cat covered in paint. Holly, you don't need to be seeing that. Oh, for crying out loud. It's like a toddler, you know, having a cat like Holly. Anyway, so this morning, I wanted to do this video this morning, but it's Tuesday, and I forgot it was Tuesday. And Tuesday around here means that the crew from the landscape company is here working, and they make so much noise. Now, I know, this is a first world problem, Helen. So you shouldn't even complain because you have someone to do it for you. But, and keeping the common areas nice and stuff, it just seems to go on forever because, see, I've switched colors here. I'm still using the same light pink, but then I'm using, I'm using red in this, excuse me, painterly pink instead of this salmon color. So, anyway, so they come and they mow, then they come and with the trimmer, then they come with the edger, then they come with the blower, and but it's not like one after the other. It's not a succession. They wait in between, so you get this false sense of security that, oh good, they're finished, when in fact, just as you're going to make a video, they start up again. But the blower guy was just here, so I can't think of anything else that they're going to do. I'll blow a gasket if they do. This one doesn't have a whole lot of color, different color on it. So, you know what? That's fine. You know what? I'm going to let it dry a little bit, and we'll come back and add something maybe with a stencil. Let's get some bigger pieces here. Let's try one of these pieces, because these bigger size, this is the printer paper that I used on my, when I watercolored my, oh, did I just do that? I did. Okay. Where's my cloth? Here it is. Okay. When I watercolored my, those things, coffee filters. Okay, let's go ahead and use some more of this red. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that there's so much of this stuff left. I mean, these paints were like probably the first paints I ever got. I mean, these are from like 2000, they've got to be from like 2008 or 2009. I mean, there's such a mess, I can't even, okay, this one, is this one actually gone now? Oh, no, ugh, there's still more in there. Yeah, they've just kind of gone on forever. And I think they are, one of the reasons I'm having trouble getting them out is because there is they're dry, you know, they're getting a little bit dry. Okay, let me add a different color here. One I can get out easier. With this salmon, what is this called? Altered orange. Okay. Just that. And I don't mind having some white space. You can have some white space if you want. I'm not sure if I want that much white space, but, you know, having some white space, you know, I think it kind of adds interest. But the point for me to do these papers is to get rid of this paint. I'm trying to clean up my craft room a little bit, but, you know, I don't want to just throw things away that are still good. I want to use them all up, right? So, all right, this has the blue on the bottom. Let's switch colors here. Let's go with this blue here. So if you have these paints, what happened to my pin? Oh no, there it is. Well, if you have these paints, you know how old they are, you know, how long that they've been out. Because I think probably, you know, within a year, every Tuesday morning that had them was going to have them. You know, it wasn't like some got them and then 5 years later another got them. Oh, come on, paint. Oh my gosh. I can feel this one, that this has got paint in it still. It's just being a nuisance here. And see, if it's like this isn't any good for, let's see, should we use some green? This isn't any good for using on a jelly plate. It's just too frustrating. Plus, you know, one of my jelly plates is a really big one. And so it would take me forever to get enough paint on there. But anyway, so today's Tuesday, today's gardening day. So I wanted to do this video early, and then I decided I needed to go to my church to plant. Our church has a house that is next to the church. I don't think it ever was the rectory of the church. It's just a little house that happens to be next to our church. Well, we bought that house several years ago, and it's from about 1910, I think. Cute little bungalow type house. And we bought that house. It was in terrible condition, but we ended up buying the house because we wanted to use it for a gathering space, both for our church members and for community groups. That we have Habitat for Humanity uses it, and, you know, other groups can use it also. It's got a conference room upstairs. I like this color combination. I think that's pretty. It's got a conference room upstairs. It's got my pastor's office is downstairs, and it's got a library room upstairs, a computer room upstairs, and then the downstairs, the majority of the downstairs is like a big living room. We even had to knock down a chimney to open it up. It's a big like living room downstairs, and we have comfy sofas. I mean, it looks really nice and everything, but we have Bible studies in there. We have other groups meet in there, and it's kind of like a coffee shop vibe, if you know what I mean. And anyway, I've been with that project working on this house since its conception. I mean, since before we even bought it, you know, praying, should we buy it, and so on and so forth. And I have to tell you something. That house was never, wow, that's a bright blue, was never a line item on our budget. I mean, we never had money for that, to buy that house. But we felt that the Lord was moving us to buy it. And He provided the money every step of the way. Like, when we bought the house, He provided the money for every bit of renovation. I think that's way too much, that we did on that house. And so we didn't have to borrow money. We didn't have to stop renovations for years because we didn't have to do, didn't have the money or whatever. So, okay, this is hideously bright, but that's okay. Anyway, so that project has been one that I've worked on from the get-go. And some people were taking care of the house who lived closer to it. I live about, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes from my church. And some other people who live in the town where the church is, I think I need to let this dry before I add anything else to it. Oh my gosh, Holly is just laying on all my papers here. She's going to be a mess. They were taking care of it, but they are no longer at our church, so it's up to me to take care of the house, basically. So there's two big urns right at the bottom of the ramp, the handicap ramp that goes up to the back door of the church, to the house. And this is the one that everyone from the church uses because it's closest to our church. So everyone uses the ramp to go up there. Nobody goes through the front door, except maybe, no, not even the groups, because they have to go through the back because they got to go through the key, the electric key door thingy. But long story short, there's two big flower pot urns at the bottom of that ramp. And over the winter, those people had put some fake ferns in there because, nothing will grow here. It's too cold to keep in the winter time. What color do I want to use? I'll try this green. And so, anyway, those fake ferns were still there, and it's springtime, and usually they would put plants in there, flowers or whatever. Well, they're not there anymore, so I was like, well, it's going to be up to me. So I bought some pretty flowers where I got some Dusty Miller, white snapdragons, Dusty Miller, which is like that sagey color, and then some little purpley flower. I forget what it is. And so I decided to go put those in the boxes, or the urns today. And, you have intentions of, I'm just going to pop over there, I'm going to put these little flowers in and be done with it and come home and make my video. Well, it's never that easy, right? Because I went there and did the flowers and everything. Well, then I had to go inside the house to get something to water them with because I thought I had my watering jug in my car, but I didn't. So I had to go into the house to get something to water with. And I realized that some of the groups that have been using the house are not following the regulation. And it's actually not the groups from the community. It's my own church groups who are not emptying the trash. The recycling bin was so full I couldn't hardly even close it. We have snacks for people to have. There's like a basket of snacks that they can have. It was completely empty. And I know that the kids are meeting there. They're doing a Bible study. Well, like the middle schoolers and whatever are doing a Bible study, and they're meeting there Friday night. And basically the house was a mess. And so my attempt to go and just pop in, put the flowers in and then leave, because I went into the house to get water, ended up taking the trash out, sweeping the floors. I found that we have ants outside, and we do have a contract with a company to take care of that, so I had to call them and tell them we've got ants crawling on the house, and we've had problems with the ants coming in the house, and that's because when it rains a lot, which we've had a lot of rain, they do that. But what was supposed to be like a 15-minute, just flunk the, wow, this is bright, 15-minute little trip over to the church ended up to be like 2 hours, and I was like, oh my gosh, okay. So then, you know, I came back, and by then the yard people were in full swing doing their thing. I was like, oh, forget it, I can't do that. But the good thing was, when I bought the plants for the church, there's a little not kiosk, but tent and a surrounding area that a nursery in a town about 20 miles south of us has, and they set it up in our county right here where I live, and they sell plants, all kinds of plants, like food plants and flowers and whatever. So I had bought those flowers from them, but they were selling them like it was cheaper if you bought a whole flat of flowers. Well, I didn't need a whole flat for those 2 urns. So what I did was I treated myself to my favorite flower. And I bought myself a bunch of different colored portulaca, which I love. And so they were sitting in the, tray with the other flowers. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to plant my portulaca. What? Oh no, I've used both sides. Well, both sides are gross now. So this was a painting paper I had already painted on. If you could say, this was the bottom, one of my bottom papers. So I'm just adding a little bit more color to it, and then we'll go from there and see what happens. But anyway, so I had all different kinds of portulaca, so I decided, since I couldn't make my video then, that I was going to plant my portulaca. So what I want to do, instead of just going on like this, I have some other things to play with also. And I've got these are my Vicky Bouton watercolor crayons, and I wonder if I could just do some coloring over this and see what happens. Maybe I can get a brush here and make a big mess. Let's see what we can do. What happens if I do these over the paint? They will, I'm not sure if they've sunk, what's the word? Not sunk. Seeped into the paper enough. I don't know. But I'm just playing. Making painting papers. I might have to wait till the acrylic dries a little more to use these watercolor crayons, because I might just be reactivating or just adding water to the thing. Okay, that looks like a mess, but I know we can salvage that. I've been here before. I'm really good at making messes. Let me put that one up there. Because the other thing I have, let's see what happens. Okay, this one is still kind of damp. Let me pull up one of the ones that should be dry. Let me pull up this one here instead. What I have here is, also I've got my oil pastels. These are cheap Pentel oil pastels. Back in the day, whenever these were sold at Ben Franklin, they were $1.59. Can you believe that? I mean, what can you buy for $1.59 anymore, right? Nothing. So let's just take a color. What color do we want to use? Let's try this blue. I'm not familiar with oil pastels, so I'm really not sure what they do. You know, do they smudge? Yeah, they smudge a little bit, and if it's oil, I don't think it's going to reactivate with water. It's not. So these are just kind of like a mark making tool that you'd want to use to make marks. Anyway, let's put that down. So these are just like this would be to use at the end, and I think these also. But what I can do is, let's get another piece here of this paper here. I think this looks brown. I'm not sure. This might actually be gold. I can't tell. Anyway, let's get some paint on it. Let's use this bright blue, but let's not use so much of this bright blue. I don't think I'll ever get rid of this bright blue. I've used it on my jelly plate before, and it, like, if you have a nice print, you don't want to use that because it's just so bright, it will almost ruin it, you know? So I'm just going to try be a little less liberal with that. Just use a little bit. See how it just takes over everything. Yeah, so I just felt like I wanted to make some more painty papers. They can be torn up into pieces. They can be collaged, you know, whatever you want to do with them. You can use your paper punches on them if you want to make them into shapes once you've got them finished. What I'm doing now is just part 1. I'll probably make a part 2 of this video sometime and add to these. It may not be in the next week or 2, but I will make a part 2, and I'll use these papers. I won't use other ones. I'll use these ones that I'm using here so that you can see. Let's see, what other color could we use on that? Should we use some of, let's use some of this salmon color here. And we might make mud, I don't know. We'll see. Oh, that's kind of a pretty combination. That's kind of actually very summery, I think. I don't know why that reminds me of summer. What's that? That's just a paint thing. That's kind of a pretty one right there. Let's see if we can get some more on the edges here. Anyway, so get some papers out. Find some of your bottom papers that you don't like. Now, I do have some blotting papers, or whatever you want to call them, the ones that you paint on, you know, like this, that are really cool, that I wouldn't do anything else to. As a matter of fact, I like them so much. I'm using them little piece by little piece because I love them so much. But you can use those, and see, you're making a new one when you do this, right? So let's go back. How far along am I here? 26 minutes. All right, let's keep going just for a little bit. Let's go ahead and maybe add a little bit of stenciling, and then we can go on from there. So let's see here. We decided we cannot scrape through paint through a stencil. So let's go ahead and use some paint, and we'll use a sponge. I use these makeup sponges, you know, these ones that are hard to get in the store anymore. So let's go ahead and do that. So we've got this pink and we've got this. What color should we do with this? Let's try, that would be really bright, but let's go ahead and try some of this blue. Let me get one of my palettes here. I know, don't say anything. I know, I just know. Oh my gosh, come on. Oh, is this almost gone? Please be gone. I can feel there's still a lot of paint in here. This paint is never gonna go away. Ugh. Let's see. No, that's not enough to do that. You know what I'm thinking? I'm gonna go rogue here. Where's my, oh, where are my big scissors? Here they are. All right. This is what I'm thinking of doing. I'm going to cut this end off and see if that helps any. And I know I can't close it again afterwards, so I'm just going to have to do a heck of a lot of stenciling today, or make a lot of under papers, right? So I'm just going to do a little bit of stenciling. Everybody can do this. So scraping paint, stenciling, that will be the first part, but we'll go on from here and do some other stuff to these to make them better. Or not make them better, but just to maybe finish them a little bit more. Do a little finishing work to them. But I'm not going to sit here and stencil all of these papers because that would take too long to do that on camera. But I will do it, and then I'll have them all papered and painted and stenciled for part 2 when we come back. Okay. Oh, that's not so bad, is it? That's actually not so bad. So let me just finish this side, and then we'll call it a day. I think I heard I have a Samsung washer and dryer, and they play a little tune. Like, it's not a short tune either. They just play this little tune when your laundry is done. And I think I heard the tune going. It's not like just a buzz or something like that. It is an actual little tune. It's quite cute. However, this is how sad I am. I actually sometimes get this song from my washer and dryer stuck in my head. Can you believe that? It's not like I do laundry all the time either, because I don't. Let's see how that looks. Oh, I really like this. I think that this is coming out well. And I'm sorry, I can't tell you whose stencils these are. I have no idea because I've taken them all out of the plastic and cardboard. Some I might remember, but this one I do not remember whose this one is. All right, we're going to just put like one more over here. And then if anyone would like to come and do my laundry for me, they're more than welcome to. Just email me or just tell me what you want to do and I'll email you my address. You can come finish my laundry for me. And feed the beast, because I don't know if you can hear, she's in here whining, but it's not time for her quite to eat yet. Okay. All right, so stenciling, painting, scraping paint, and stenciling is basically what I'm doing today. But then we'll come back from here and we'll do some other stuff. Like I said, in part 2, we're going to take it a step further. But that may not be for a week or two, so don't think I've forgotten. I will have this stack reminding me quite frequently that I need to finish it, but I have other projects I have to get to in between, so that's why I said it might not get done right away, but it will get done. All right, guys, I hope you liked this video. Please give me a thumbs up if you did. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I ask that you do. I hope you get some paint on your hands, have some painty fun, and until the next video, guys, I hope you're all truly blessed. Bye-bye.